Guess who's back? Back again. Mary's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? The question is, for how long? So, it's been 2 weeks since Mary uploaded a video, and I'm going to cover this on this stream and tomorrow. And I'll do it again tomorrow because assuming if she's going to do another video. Remember when Mary said that she wasn't going to come back to YouTube? Guess what? She came back. She came back, guys. Honestly, she never stayed away. I would compare Adrasia to Marina Joyce. But even that's generous to Marina. Anyway, let's start. So the video's titled, "They've Destroyed My Dreams and Won't Stop Until They've Ended My Life."
It didn't end. They told me that if I would just stop posting videos, it would end, that it would stop.
Yeah. It doesn't. You have to understand, Mary, is that if you continue posting on other social media sites such as Facebook, there's going to be people who will be lurking on there because you were never fully gone. You were only gone on YouTube, but you were still posting on Facebook. So the internet's forever, by the way.
I've been offline for nearly 2 weeks now, and it has
No, you haven't.
ended.
You've been on Facebook.
Not only am I still receiving emails and Facebook messages every time my phone connects to internet, now I'm receiving real life harassment as well. They keep putting things in my mailbox.
I wonder what they put in your mailbox this time. I mean, last time, okay, so AP sent Mary gorilla shit. Royce Lopez's fan sent a shovel. I hope someone sent her a bag of potatoes. Potatoes. Please stay.
There's no return address, so I can't prove who's doing it. I don't think it was mailed. I'm pretty sure it was just put in my mailbox. Which means that these people are near me, able to find my home, and still wanting to hurt me.
Honestly, what more do I say? I mean, it's the same song and dance. These people want to hurt me. These people want to rape me. These people want to kill me. They want me to commit suicide. What more can I expect from Adrasia? Other than I hope she makes another video so that I can cover it. Because honestly, to me, I find Adrasia more or less entertaining because she's always paranoid and she's always likes to play the victim. But the stories about her on the streets when she was living on the streets in LA, I think those were more entertaining. The story about the stories about living in a truck were more entertaining, aside from her pissing in a Burger King cup and shitting in a salad bowl. Yeah, that's just disgusting. But other shit,
even if I did everything that they asked me to do. I sold that phone. I'm not planning on ever coming back as a full-time YouTuber. I gave up that planning on ever coming. I sold that phone.
You Oh, so that's what happened to the phone. So that's what happened. I wonder how much money she got for that phone.
I'm not planning on ever coming back as a full-time YouTuber.
No, you're just gonna upload videos of you crying.
I gave up that dream.
Then why did you come back? Is this like a farewell tour?
That dream that I had been working on for 5 years, I gave it up completely. So that the harassment would end because I couldn't take
Hey,
it.
Mary, I know you're not watching this, but how does it feel to know that no matter how many times you say you leave the internet, there's always going to be people coming after you? I mean, the only way you can stop this is if you like leave the internet permanently. But I know you're not going to do that. You're never going to go away from the internet. And the whole idea, okay, first, Mary, if you have sold your phone, then how are you uploading this video? I know all your lies, Mary. I know that you're bullshitting us. Because again, I've seen a pattern. After watching your videos, Mary, I have seen a pattern of you lying continuously, nonstop. You're saying, oh, these people are being mean to me. My Aunt Kathy ruined my life. My Aunt Kathy won't accept the fact that my dad abused my brother. Adonis Paul is sending people to come out and rape me. Royce Lopez wants me dead. Lie after lie after lie after lie. I think at this point, Adrasia, I know you're watching this because every time someone makes a video about you, every time your name is mentioned, you can't help but acknowledge the fact that people are coming on this platform talking to you. Holy crap. Thank you, Keonian. Holy crap, Keonian, thank you so much. Thank you for donating $10 to me. I mean, you rock, guys. You really rock. I missed you, guys. I missed you. I just missed you in my chat, Keonian. Oh. Multiple phones? Then why didn't you sell those phones instead, Mary? So, okay, Mary, I know you're watching this. I know you're watching this because, again, what I said is true. Every time someone makes a video about you, you can't help it. You can't help but watch. Because we're the ones giving you attention. We're always the ones giving you attention because you don't have a life out of YouTube. You don't have a life out of the internet. Sorry, I just had to put it on just do not disturb. You don't have a life out of the internet, off the internet. So what do? Oh, hey, Blue. What's up? Mary just made another video. Mary made a new video. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Keonian. But it's good to see you back. I miss seeing your comments. Anyway.
And they told me it would end if I would just go away. I did what they told me to do.
I think what they meant is if you like, I don't know, let the internet permanently not go on, not engage with people on Facebook or YouTube or whatever social media site. That's what they meant. Get out. Find a job. Do something productive with your life. That's what they meant, Mary. I know you're watching this. Hi, Mary.
I'm not going to show you what they've given me.
Deodorant? Spiritual God Warrior 420 said it might be deodorant. I mean, you really need some deodorant, Mary. I mean, if you hadn't bathed in days, I would imagine that you smell like rotting fish carcasses in the middle of the summer heat.
Because that's what they want.
I know.
They want a video showing the pictures, and they want a video showing everything that they've done, so that they can laugh and say that was me.
Honestly, do I have to explain everything? Do I really need to explain myself? Do I really need to explain the fact that, again, all this shit that's happening to you is your fault? I mean, I was going to save this for tomorrow, but since I decided, I should go live and talk about this. I mean, this is irking me. This is eating me. So, and that is not an ass-eating joke. No. No. Trust me, no one wants to eat her ass. And sorry, I don't. And I'm not stealing Taft's joke. But no, it's eating at me. Like, it's bugging me. Like, honestly, it's really bugging me that I should save this for tomorrow. But no. Since after Underhaven's show, since I decided, you know what? I should go live. I should definitely go live. But yeah, I should definitely go live. But enough about that. The point is, Mary, no one told you to make a video screaming at your Aunt Kathy. No one told you to go after Adonis Paul. No one even told you to nuke Virgie's first channel. You did that all yourself. And nobody told you to run away from Florida to live on the streets in Los Angeles, California. And no one told you to tell Kenneth McBride to get rid of Roberta Laws. That's all you. So all the shit that's been going on in your life, the bad shit, all the trolls, the trolling, the harassment, death threats, and all that shit, that's on you. And you have to live with that. You have to get over it, move on. And that's pretty much, I'm going to say that.
I'm not giving them that. I'm simply letting everybody know that giving up on my dream didn't help.
You're better off.
It didn't stop the harassment.
Of course it didn't help. Of course giving up on your dreams of becoming you. Sorry. Of course giving up on your dreams of becoming a YouTuber didn't help you. Because, again, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're still going to have people coming after you. You're still going to have people hating on you. And that's the part of life. Not everyone's going to cow down to you. Not everyone's going to walk on eggshells for you just because you have borderline personality disorder, or you're bipolar, or you're schizophrenic, or the fact that you have severe mental issues that are preventing you from getting a job and living a normal life, or the fact that you're homeless. Because, again, not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to pity you. Not everyone's going to validate your perpetual victimhood. There may be some people who will simp for you, but they're just a bunch of weirdos like you. Like that guy with the rape kit. You know, the guy with the Vaseline and shit.
It didn't make anything better. Except now I'm a lot more afraid in real life. Because it's not just online anymore. And the longer I ignore it, the more they're going to...
So, what's your plan, Mary? Are you going to make more videos this time? God, I hope so. I hope you make more videos because, again, it's never going to go away. All the shit that's going on, just because you decide to get offline, get off YouTube, doesn't mean that the harassment's going to stop. The only way it's going to stop is if you unplug everything. But I know you're not going to do that. It's too easy to leave the internet for you because, again, people are going to get bored. People are going to wonder where you are. Hell, I was worried. I was kind of worried about you at one point because I thought you were actually going to commit suicide. I thought you succeeded in committing suicide. Well, actually, part of me thought that. But I knew damn well that this is all part of your plan. You're trying to, like, strum up this new cycle of drama so that you can make your triumphant return and start victim shaming actual people with mental illnesses, people like myself. And honestly, this shit that you do on a daily basis, well, it's evident enough that you just don't want it to go away. Obviously, you don't want the drama to go away. You don't want the attention. You don't want the attention taken off of you. You love it. In fact, this is why you decided to come back, is because you weren't getting enough attention, because Adonis Paul and Virgie are moving on to another lolcow. Her name is Gasuba. She's kind of like you, except more pathetic. You're Mother Teresa compared to Gasuba, Mary. You're Mary Madeline compared to Gasuba. And
I'm afraid they're gonna actually hurt me. If they can't get to me with
hey, bro guy.
things, the next step is physically harming me.
Physically harming you? Wait a minute. Whoa. Time out. Time out, Mary. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard, oh, these people are going to physically harm me? You said that so many times. You said that people are going to come to your house, come to your Section 8 and rape you or murder you. And dude, I've seen so many of your videos. I've even seen the re-uploads on the Revive channel. And honestly, it's the same song and dance routine. And honestly, you need to step up your game, Mary. You need to step it up. Try something that we didn't see coming. Say something like, I don't know, justice for Britney Spears, justice for Barb, or potatoes. Potatoes. Find the duck. Find that duck you were looking for. Start searching for ducks. I don't know. Play some Super Nintendo Maximum Carnage or whatever. Someone should donate like an Atari.
I haven't done anything. My family has been lying.
I know.
Daywave started this.
No, JJ started
and they
it.
said that if I would just stop posting and go away, they would end it, but it didn't end.
No, you're right. It didn't end.
It's never going to end.
You're right. It's never going to end. It's never going to end for you, Mary, because, again, you don't want it to end. You don't want it to end. I mean, Royce Lopez and Adonis Paul have stopped giving a shit about you. They've moved on. They have their own shit to deal with. They got other people to look at. I mean, Adonis has Gasuba, and Lord knows what Royce Lopez is doing. He's still talking about the whole the mandates, the vaccination mandates on Revenge of the Sith. But the thing is, everyone, and Virgie also is looking at Gasuba. Well, actually, he's looking at Gasuba's dad. But still, everyone is moving on from you. You're not that relevant anymore. Well, I'm still looking at you, but honestly, I could give two fucks about you. Again, I like to flip-flop between other lolcows. I mean, you and Gasuba and Shani, Rev, G-Man, Von Helton, Lucas Werner. Oh, yes. Because, again, Lucas Werner is back. And he's crazier than usual. So, yeah. Telomeres. Am I right, guys? You're right. Daywave isn't responsible for what other people do. Now, I like to take a look at some of this shit before the departure. I like to take a look at some of the Justice for Baba shit. I just want to take a look at this video.
Okay, so here's my problem now. Because Kathy says they're suing me, which I am fine with. I want it. I want my family to file a lawsuit. Because if they file a lawsuit, I can counterclaim for free. And I finally get my day in court to stand against my abusers.
This was in July. This was on July 22nd. So again, yeah. This is why Adrastia is never fully gone. This is one of the reasons why Adrastia will never go away.
My problem is my family is manipulative and they are lawyers, apparently.
I hope so, bro guy.
And
I really hope so.
It's possible that they can sue me and win without me ever being notified that I've been sued.
I really hope Mary
because they forge papers.
Starts
now
coming
last
after
year,
me.
I know they do this because last year my little sister was messaging me, and all of these messages are on here. You can go watch the video all about the will, where my little sister is live texting me, telling me that she is suing me, and they wouldn't give me any information about where to go. She accused me of skipping the server, trying to escape and not get it, and I kept telling her, I want to be served. Where do I go?
PayPal me / address you.
Right?
PayPal and for weed. Yeah. Remember how Mary was talking shit about one of Barbara, that chick that tried to help her out? And of course, a lot of people have tried helping her out. Even Kimmy felt guilty of helping her out. And Kimmy is one of my followers. I mean, she's an amazing woman. She's one of my patrons. Well, actually, I don't usually put shit on Patreon, but...
So a couple months later, after I never get served, so I can never go to court, they're saying that they won. We won. You never showed up, so we won. I don't even know what they said, but
Kathy
whatever
won.
They said, they...
Actually, no. Kathy won. I thought Kathy was the one who won. I thought Kathy won. Because he kept yelling, Kathy won, Kathy won, Kathy won. And then you started punching yourself.
Won because they never legally served me the papers.
Poopy.
And so if they do that again, right, they sue me again, and they never serve me, and then they win, what happens? Because say they sue me, right, and they win, how am I even supposed to pay them anything if they never officially served me the papers? And how can they stop me from continuing to speak out if they never officially served me the papers, right? Like, say they sue me, they say she has to stop, we hate her, she has to die. That's what the judge orders. The judge orders that she has to die.
Really? Really? Oh my God, Mary. Jesus Christ. Really? That's your verdict? The judge wants you to die? Are you shitting me? Well, actually, this was in July, but still. It's still funny. Because, again, she's repeating herself.
Right? And she'll
always repeat herself.
So what then? Do they sue me again? Will I ever get to chance to say, hey, this isn't legal. They're not actually serving me papers. They're lawyers, and they are frauditing papers and forging papers to get their way in this. And I have no idea what's even going on because they never actually send me the documents that I'm supposed to get. So I'm just wondering, what is there that I can do to ensure that I receive these legal paperwork? Because I don't want to spend the rest of my life with my family forging lawsuits against me. Eventually, I have to be able to defend myself in court. They can't just keep suing me and writing it off as me not showing up when I was never even informed of it.
You were never even... Dude, your family... Again, Mary's family just wants her to stop talking shit about them. Mary's family just wanted her to stop lying about them. But of course, that's too much to ask for poor little Adrastia. As a matter of fact, I got here a documentation of what it constitutes as Mary's iconic book. Hold on. Damn it. Ah, dang it. Ah, dang it.
also I need to look into proving that they did that so that I can try to take their bars away from them. Because a lawyer who is forging paperwork
You're right,
to
spiritual
keep
god
from actually,
warrior 420.
okay, for one,
It's
I
all
don't think
in
a
her
lawyer
head.
is supposed to sue their own family. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get another lawyer because it's like conflict of interest or something. So I don't think the family lawyer, the lawyer that is family, literally should have been able to sue me and forge the paperwork for other sides of the family to win, which is what happened. So I need to find out what the lawsuit that they won against me was. Like, and they did sue me. Nikki very clearly said they were suing me. She told me for weeks that they were trying to find me to serve me the papers. They were suing me. And she told me that Kathy told her everything she needed to do, so I was fucked. Exact words. She said, just so you know, you're fucked because Kathy told me everything I need to do. So how do I find out what that lawsuit came out to? And how do I find out how to file an appeal to let somebody know that I was never properly informed of that lawsuit that they apparently won last year?
Kathy won. Anyway, now I got a treat for you guys. What I have here is the documentation of Mary's bestseller, I Will Never Stop Screaming by Adrastia. Chapter 1. Note. A note before we begin. This is my first book. I am writing on my own and have only a special ed high school diploma. So this might not read like a professional book, and I apologize for that. Grammatical errors will abound. This is my story, in my words, and sometimes that means there will be gallows humor sprinkled here and there and lots of cursing. Oh my God, Mary. I know English might not be your strong suit, Mary. It's not meant to be offensive or downplay the severity of what I've experienced. Rather, it's my own way of coping with it. It's often misunderstood as insensitive. If you're easily upset by jokes about suicide, disability, homosexuality, drug and alcohol addiction, and mental illness, this might not be the book for you. But if you're interested in a look into the darker side of life from someone who's been there, bullshit, I welcome you and hope you leave this book with more knowledge about abuse and its effects of the mind, body, and spirit. And maybe a little hope that no matter how bad it gets, you can fight to make it better. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm betting it is. And yes, Mary, if you're watching this, this one's for you. I am reading your book. All right. Edit. February 31st, 2020. The one review of this book so far is by an aunt, which is, of course, Aunt Kathy. I'd like to remind all reading that I can prove everything that happened in this book. And Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is well aware of this closed murder case involved. She's referring to the murder of Roberta Laws, which, of course, she was partially involved in. I mean, she told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta. But, again, Cycle 1. Mima's story. I want to show how abuse cycles through generations and affects people differently. To do that, I have to tell you more than just my story. I'll be telling my grandmother's story, my mother's, and my siblings and mine, using no real names for privacy's sake. Yeah, you posted on Facebook that you wrote a book, and you basically blurted out your real name, Mary Barone. And of course, you mentioned Aunt Kathy. My grandmother, who I called Mima, was born in 1931. to a monster of a man. Her mother would go on to have 11 more children, being beat and belittled all the while. My great grandmother would be placed in a mental hospital for the majority of her adult life, incarcerated by her husband after bearing his abuse and his children. My grandmother was pulled out of school in second grade and forced to be a mother to her siblings. She took over all the responsibility and all the abuse. She picked cotton, cooked, cleaned, sewed clothes, and tended to 11 children and one demon. She was regularly beat and sexually assaulted by her father and would bear his child at the age of 15. What the fuck? Again, how much is this ripping off of true crime events? As she got older, she noticed boys looking at her and would beat her. As she got older, he noticed boys looking at her and would beat her for it. Called her a whore even though she wasn't going out with them. Beating her if a boy drove by too slowly. Always looking for a reason to hit or berate. This is a trend that will be found in most men in my family's lives. Yeah, we've seen that. As a result, my grandmother grew up quickly, never really having a childhood. Thankfully, her father died, cancer, I believe, something slow and painful anyway. And she went on with her life, marrying her first husband, who would turn out to also be abusive. He would give her 2 daughters, the younger being my mother. He was a heavy alcoholic and would constantly accuse her of cheating on him. She worked, and he would go over her time cards and time how long it took her to get home. And if she was out 1 minute longer than he calculated, she might be killed. One night, he put a knife to her throat as she slept because she worked late and he didn't believe it, telling her if her pay didn't show the extra work, he would kill her. She stayed awake at night and cried, fearing she would be killed any day. This was normal life for my grandmother. It was all she had ever known. How was she to know it wasn't meant to be that way? I don't know, Mary. Sounds kind of fishy. Sounds like it's, I don't know, bullshit? I'm celebrating Mary's return by reading her novel, her book. When my mother was old enough to take care of herself, around 16, my grandmother finally got up the strength to leave him. Thankfully, asshole number 2 in her life also got cancer and eventually died slowly and painfully. Sometimes cancer isn't such a bad thing. My grandmother would find herself with a drinking problem, getting caught mixing a Jack and Coke while parked and spending a little time in jail. The drinking did lead to one good thing, her second and last husband, the man I knew as Papa. She met him at a bar. He had one drink every night after work at a place where a friend of my grandmother's worked. She convinced her to come in when he was there, and bam, love at first sight. She would finally be treated right. He was a saint. He never screamed or hit. If he needed to cuss, he would crawl under a car hood and release it through working. He would buy her anything she wanted. He was perfect. He also died of cancer. Big bummer for teenage me. But we're not there yet. Cycle 2. Mima's children. Before my grandmother had 3 daughters, Her eldest was raised along with her siblings. I'm betting that's Catherine or Kathleen. I would later adopt one of her sis. She would later adopt one of her sisters from a mutual feeling that she was the person who raised her. Is this getting confusing yet? Mima's eldest daughter, I know little about. She's a kind woman who works hard and doesn't rest often. Her marriage didn't last, but did gift her with a child. Dad was secretly gay. Whoops. It's a trend that's going to be repeated. Mima's adopted sister slash daughter would also marry and have a child with a gay, well, a trans, but in the 70s, I believe it was all the same. I wonder if they were trying to choose safe men to avoid abuse. I've never spoken to them about it. I know everything from stories my grandmother told me. Sister slash daughter would go on to marry an abusive man later on in life. It's like our bloodline is a magnet for them. Moving on, Mima's second child, I know only slightly about. She was a rebellious teenager and would go on to have multiple children by multiple men. Most she did have the decency to marry before finally finding a good one. She would wind up heavily addicted to pain medication, an addiction she shared with her teenage daughters. Drugs are a family affair around these parts. She does all this while under the mindset of CPTSD. CPTSD isn't real and she's doing just fine. This is a mindset shared by many people in my family who are indeed not fine. One of her children committed suicide. Another 2 or 3 would be in jail, in and out of jail with drug problems, creating children with multiple different people. Everyone's doing just fine. Mima's youngest child would be known to me as Mom. She had trouble in school and would drop out at 13 and become her father's drinking buddy. My grandmother tried protecting her children, but she worked and doesn't know what happened when she was gone. Wow, 8 people are in. Nice. That means I'm doing one hell of a good job. I'm reading Mary's shit and I'm going to piss her off. My mother would have a drinking problem for many decades to come. She met Satan, who I called Dad. No, Hatman doesn't claim you. Neither does Adonis Paul. I called Dad and got hooked on hard drugs and had 4 children with him. Satan slash Dad would beat Mom near to death on multiple occasions. On one, he would drug and rape my grandmother and aunt? The fuck? What the fuck is this shit? He would prostitute my mother and use his children for everything he could get from them. Yeah, like using your disabled brother as a drug mule. He would be arrested multiple times for abuse, once for attempting to rape a 13-year-old and did jail time for marijuana. One of his children would be born handicapped due to this extreme abuse. I take it that's Bubba. When I call him Satan, I'm not exaggerating by very much in my view. We know. The good news before I talk about him further is that he's dead. He blew his own evil brains out of his skull. Good riddance. Oh yeah, you said that your dad committed suicide. And you said you would be... Justice for Bubba. And here's justice for Bubba. How much more am I going for this? Justice for Bubba. I'm going to look for the one about Kenneth. this is actually, I'm just skipping through because, again, it's just bullshit. I just want to get to the murder. Murderer! Hold on, Adrazia. I'm coming for you. Dude. This is the one I'm looking for. Murderer. Murderer. I just skipped over a few because, again, she's just talking about her life. And, of course, it doesn't make sense since none of that shit happened. Anyway, justice for Bubba is bullshit. And I'll show you why. Murder. This is where it really went downhill for me. I was still okay at this stage. I wasn't drinking or doing drugs. Bullshit. I avoided that life because I saw what it did to my family, and I was determined to not be like them. I'm not going to say anything. Living with Mima as an adult was hard. She didn't seem to want me to grow up. She bought my clothes, told the stylist what to do with my hair. She told me what to wear and what to do, and I followed orders miserably. Really, feeling like nothing mattered. No one was ever going to love me. Yeah, we know. We've seen that. I would be in and out of mental hospitals and given a new diagnosis. Now they thought I was schizoaffective and heavily medicated to control my behavior. I stopped taking the pills. I hated sleeping all the time and feeling groggy and sick when I was awake, and felt like my life wasn't going to go anywhere on them. I started looking for love again, needing to leave Mima's and be independent again. I posted on Craigslist and got a few responses. Went on a few dates. Nothing panned out very well until I met him. She's referring to Kenneth McBride, the man who would change her life forever. Murderer. 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 Like I said, I'm only going to be looking at a few passages. He was older than me, but I didn't care about age. I just wanted someone to love me. He claimed to be a millionaire and would buy me gifts and expensive meals. That was a lie. That was bullshit. He would put me in a long stay motel room and visit daily for sex and pillow talk. Don't you mean he would hold me for hours and tell me fantastic stories about being a vigilante? Oh God. How he helped people when the police... Oh, he meant vigilante. Oh, okay. Yes. Mary's not wrong about the grammatical errors and spelling errors. How he had killed people. How he was part of a gang of men that would protect each other. I should have been scared, but by his telling, those people deserve to die. What? I'm confused. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. Because, again, that's bullshit. Kenneth McBride, as most people who are fans of Adonis Paul and Daywave, is a convicted child molester who is now serving a life sentence for murdering his paraplegic fiance, his disabled fiance with cerebral palsy, who was I keep messing up. It's wheelchair bound fiance. Because little old Mary here, told him to get rid of her. Okay. Oh, Keonian, you're just in time. I'm reading Mary's book, or at least I'm reading passages in Mary's book. And then I'm going to compare the passages to the actual crime. Right here, Mary's talking about the time she met Kenneth McBride and that she would stay with him at motel rooms for cuddles and sex. She asked me to marry him and made big plans, taking me to jewelry stores and having me try on wedding gowns. I didn't have a proper wedding the first time, and I became memorized at the idea of me marrying this beautiful dress and standing up in front of his family and friends and finally being a real person, finally being loved. I had dreams of what our life would be like. Then one night, everything changed. He had taken me to his home for a month. We lived together happily. I cleaned and cooked while he worked. He came home one day and said, "Pack your stuff." He drove me back to Mimas in tears, begging him to explain. He loved me madly. Just a few hours before, I couldn't understand what I did wrong. He just said it was over. I could never see him again. I was heartbroken and desperate. How could this happen? What did I do? What could I do? I couldn't let him go. He was my chance at a normal life. He was my dream. He was my everything at the time. All my thoughts revolved around him. And now suddenly I meant nothing. I wasn't having it. Oh, shit. Sorry, my bad. Something was blocking the webcam. I sat in my room and cried and contemplated suicide for hours till the rage inside me just exploded. Oh, this is where she said, "Get rid of him." I needed to know why he had done this, and I needed to know right then. I got my keys, took off to his house, middle of the night, driving half blinded with rage and sadness. It felt like I arrived in seconds. I stormed to the door and knocked, and a woman in a wheelchair answered. He came up behind her quickly and stepped out to talk to me. Everything he had told me was a lie. His name, his age, his financial status. And that woman was his fiance for 10 years. That woman was Roberta Laws, the murder victim. I was dumbfounded. He cried and apologized and said he really did love me, that it was only supposed to be for a couple of dates. And then he got obsessed with me and couldn't stop. He said we needed to lie to her about why I was there because it would hurt her to know the truth. He told her I was responding to a Craigslist ad for a caregiver job to help her while he was at work. I went with it, expecting just leave and not return. The next day, I got a call from her. Oof. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to not. She really liked my interview and wanted me for the job. I didn't know what to say. I had experience because she had cerebral palsy. Not even as bad as Bubba. Justice for Bubba. Justice for Bubba Justice for Bubba? What about justice for Roberta? I mean, you're still out there, Mary. Mary, I know you're watching this. And I know you're going to love this because, again, excuse me. I'm going to take a look at what you said about the whole thing. And then I'm going to compare it to what really happened. And AP, thank you for making that documentary. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten a link. I wouldn't have clicked on these tabs in the description. Each of these tabs are articles on the murder case that happened almost a decade ago. She could talk and walk a little and needed very minimal help, but she was lonely and wanting a female friend more than anything. Not wanting to live with Mima and thinking a job was a job. I agreed, and he came to pick me up. We talked on the ride and agreed our relationship was over. I was there to care for her. That didn't last. Within a week of me getting there, he was trying to have sex. I refused, reminding him he had a fiance. He started saying he didn't love her and wanted me. That he would put her in a nursing home and be with me. We argued a lot. I threatened to leave, and he would back down and cry and beg me to forgive him. He would claim to be obsessed with me, saying that he couldn't think about anything else. I became uncomfortable, and when my birthday arrived, I decided to end it. That, of course, that was bullshit. What Mary, I know what you wrote was complete bullshit because I got this article for you. And oh boy. Green Cove Springs, a Clay County jury recommended the death penalty for a Middleburg man who halted trial last week to plead guilty to strangling and burying his wheelchair-bound girlfriend. Then, moments after the jury was thanked for its service and dismissed from the courtroom, Circuit Judge John Skinner rejected the recommendation and sentenced Kenneth Ray McBride, age 37, to life without parole. It was unusual. It was an unusual move that jolted lawyers on both sides of the case, as Skinner said little from the bench to explain his reasoning. He told McBride nobody would ever know why he killed 46-year-old Roberta Laws, but that prison would be an appropriate place for him to die one day, whether that be by natural causes or suicide. McBride was charged with Laws' February 2009 murder. Excerpts from an interview with the police show that he told investigators he choked her like a dog. Laws' remains were found buried near McBride's home in Middlesbrough. Authorities say McBride donated Laws' wheelchair to the Salvation Army after he killed her. Okay, that's bullshit. He had help. And Mary, I know who the person was that helped him. I'm pointing at you, Mary. I'm pointing at you right there and there. Laws had cerebral palsy. Prosecutor John Guy argued her condition made the crime particularly heinous as she was defenseless against a choking attack that a medical examiner estimated would have left her unconscious for several minutes as she contemplated why her lover chose to kill her. McBride is a registered sex predator since an arrest in 1996. The victim in that case was a girl under the age of 12. Guy asked the jury to consider how McBride used his second chance from the legal system to kill someone who loved him. Chief Assistant Public Defender Rafiq Eller argued that McBride acted poorly on his emotions as he tried to foster a relationship with another woman. That woman was, of course, Mary Barone. He showed the jury emails suggesting that the two had talked about the need to get Laws out of McBride's life. Mary told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta. Plain and simple. There were emails demanding Kenneth to get rid of her. If he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger, Eller told the jury. That doesn't excuse it, but he'll have every day for the rest of his life to think about what he's done to someone he loved. The email handle Broken Angel is Mary's email handle. And now let's go back to the book. He took me to Mima's to celebrate. She took us to eat, and when we got back, I told her to leave me there. When we got back, I told him to just leave me there. I didn't care about the things I left or the money he owed me. I just wanted to go back to living with Mima. He grabbed my arm tight. And whispered to me, if I didn't get into his truck, he would kill Mima. We argued the whole ride back. At one point, I attempted to jump from the moving vehicle. He pulled me back and pulled out a knife and said he would use if I tried that again. He said he was going to take care of everything. I cried and begged just to let me go. When we got there, he said, stay put. If the door is open, the alarm will sound off and I would be killed. I did as I was told. I sat in the truck staring at the house for nearly an hour. I would contemplate jumping out and trying to get away and think about him shooting me or sending his friends after me. I was afraid I would put Mima in danger. He threatened to hurt her already and knew where she lived. She trusted him, and I knew if I got away, she would be his first stop. Hey, Artfully Corgi, I'm reading Adrastia's little book. Actually, I'm only reading the passage where she was talking about the murder. And then I'm comparing it to this. Green Cove Springs. The body of a disabled woman who was killed before her wheelchair and other items were donated to the Salvation Army was pulled from a shallow grave behind her former boyfriend's Middleburg house Tuesday night, authorities said. The remains were found after the man's current girlfriend fled the house more than 5 weeks after the crime occurred, Clay County Sheriff Rick Bezler said. Investigators who began following Kenneth Ray McBride after learning what happened at the Middleburg home arrested him Tuesday as he was driving his truck through Orange Park. McBride, 35, a registered sexual predator, was charged with murder. The victim's name has not been released. Pending... Oh, this was Mary Margaret Barone was the name of the woman. Pending positive identification and notification of next to kin, Besler said. Investigators who went to the house after McBride was arrested found a shallow grave covered with boards. Inside were the remains of a woman in her early 40s who needed the wheelchair because of cerebral palsy. Besler said the woman had not been reported missing and that no next of kin had been located Wednesday. He said he did not know how long she had lived there. No one had reporting her missing for 5 weeks, he said. The body was discovered after Mary Margaret Barone sneaked out of the house Tuesday morning and walked to a convenience store where a clerk gave her a ride to a friend's in St. Johns County. She contacted deputies to say she had information about a possible homicide. So, again, Mary, if you're watching this, you're a fucking narc. This goes to show that you're nothing more than a fucking narc. Detective said Barone was in fear for her safety and had been living at the house, but not present when the crime occurred. Police were told that on February 24th, the woman's body was removed from the house in the 2500 block of Myrtle Drive and dumped in a backyard grave dug the night before. The next day, the wheelchair, a portable toilet, and the victim's personal items were taken to the Salvation Army. McBride, who worked at the Orange Park Goo Goo Car Wash on Blanding Boulevard, was placed under surveillance until investigators and an assistant state attorney gathered enough information to make an arrest. After McBride was stopped, the yard behind the house was searched. McBride is being held in the Clay County Jail without bail. The remains were taken to medical examiner's office for an autopsy, Besler said. Of course, the remains were that of Roberta Laws. And now, back to Mary's book. I waited anxiously till he came back. He took my hand and said he had a gift. He took my hand and softly said he had a gift for me and led me inside and to her room. She was lying on her stomach, her hands and feet tied to the posts. She was naked and her head was turned to face the door. She was ripped. He had ripped a t-shirt and tied it over her eyes and mouth. There was a stuffed animal under her that was soaked in blood. Her face was blue/purple, except for the lines over her eyes and mouth where the blindfold and gag had been. After he removed them, those areas were bright white. He had strangled her with a vinyl rope after having sex with her. One eye had burst and blood had come from her mouth, eyes, and nose. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I didn't process what was happening. I went completely blank and just stared. I would remember her face for the rest of my life. I would see it in my dreams. He told me to do things, untie her, get him garbage bags. I didn't respond. I can remember now, very hazy. I could hear his voice, but couldn't understand the words or make my appendages function. I watched silently as he spread out cut up garbage bags and rolled her off the bed onto them. He wrapped her up and duct taped it and handed me the stuffed animal, instructing me to wash it. I couldn't move. He grabbed my shoulders and roughly pushed me to the sink, prepared the soapy water, and shoved the toy and my hands into it. I just stood there as he headed outside to dig the grave. Captivity. It must have taken hours to dig the grave. I had lost all sense of time. When when he returned, I was still standing with my hands in the sink. He gently walked to me. He gently walked me to the couch and sat me down. He told me he loved me and could be with me now. He raped me and then back to cleaning up the scene. I sat silent on the couch as he drug her body outside. Before he filled in the grave, he walked me outside to it. He told me to get a good look because if I made him angry and he got tired of me, I would be in there with her. I start losing track of what happened after this. I eventually fell asleep and woke up with my arm tied to the bed. He was very kind to me at this stage. He lovingly told me not to scream and I would be okay. He held me and stroked my hair and told me I would I would only be tied up if for a little while, only until he could trust me not to leave him. He raped me again and left me alone while he went to get food for us. We would eat together and sleep together, and he would constantly tell me that he loved me. I was safe. I just had to trust him. He called his job and took some time off, telling them his girlfriend had died. She had no family or friends, and no one would be looking for her. If a social worker had ever checked, she wouldn't have been living with him at all. I later found out he I would later found out he gave me a fake name so I couldn't look up his record as a violent sex offender. He would donate all her clothing and medical supplies, and it was like she was never there. It took a few days for me to regain my voice, I did, but when I did, I thought I would never stop screaming. Hence the title, I Will Never Stop Screaming. Crying and twisting desperately to free my arm, I screamed till my throat burned, knowing there would be no one to hear me that far out. No one but him. And he did, and came barreling into the room to shut me up. He put a pillow over my face and told me to stop screaming. I fought like a wild thing. He sat on me and pushed the pillow harder on my face. I stopped fighting and he let up, telling me he was sorry and he loved me. I screamed again and he slapped me so hard I passed out. I woke up to him raping me. I started fighting again and he shoved a gag in my mouth and told me I wouldn't be fed again until I was nice. He left and came back a few hours later. At this point, I was in fight mode, and every time I saw him, I screamed and scratched a bit. It went this way for about 2 weeks. I know, Spiritual God Warrior 420. It is a cringe ass title. He would rape me. I would fight. He would beat me and starve me and remind me that if I would just stop fighting, I wouldn't hurt so much. It was my fault. One day I yelled at him that Mima would find me. No one was looking for her, but someone would look for me. He realized this was true and decided he was done fighting me. He grabbed the vacuum cleaner cord and jumped on top of me, wrapping the cord around my throat and strangling me, saying it was over and he was sorry. I was sure I was dead. I prayed God would grant me mercy and prepared to die. My vision grayed out and I went unconscious. R.I.P., crazy bitch. Don't get weepy on me now. If I had died, I wouldn't be here to tell you the story, so I obviously got better. When I woke up this time, I started thinking and understanding I wasn't going to escape through strength. If I kept fighting, I would be dead. I decided that I was going to live. God had rescued me, and I thought that meant I was supposed to do something important and couldn't die in that room. I stopped fighting and started lying, telling him I loved him and wouldn't leave. I told him I told him what he wanted to hear, and it got slightly easier. I was fed regularly and wasn't beat. Sex happened multiple times a day, but I was used to it, to hating sex. I had long ago learned to fake that, so it was easy to manipulate him until believing he had broke me. Cringy. Extremely cringy. Oh, after a while, I was free to walk the house and cook for him. He would only tie me up if he left. He wanted us to be a family, so he went on Craigslist looking for puppies. He got two, and I spent most days caring for them. He found another he wanted, a beautiful animal that had been starved near to death. Her name was Mercy. That's the only name I'll put in this book. And I add it because I believe it's important. I believe that is exactly why God sent her to me, to grant me mercy. She was weak and climbed up in the bed to sleep. I convinced him to sleep with the dog, and I would sleep on the couch in the living room. He agreed and went to bed. I laid in the dark and thought about leaving. Listening to him snore, I asked myself if he was asleep enough. I thought about what would happen if he caught me. Mercy came out and licked my hand and looked at me and with deep pleading eyes, begging me to go. She repeated this action a few times before I took the hint. I went out a window and ran. I didn't know how far I ran. I kept thinking every car passing was him and jumping into the ditch. I was scared of him coming for me or sending his friends. I made it to a gas station and got a ride to the next town where I contacted the police. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the potatoes. Potato, 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 potato. Murderer. Also, murderer. What is the truth? That you were a murderer? Investigate. Chapter 4. Investigation. I told police what happened. I told them about him having friends that would be looking for me. They didn't seem to believe me and asked if I could get him to admit to it over the phone. I was able to and was told there was no tape in the recorder and asked if I could do it again. I called again, got him to confess again. He cried and begged me to come back, and I just kept making him tell me what he was sorry for. He insisted that his friend would be moving the body and there was no chance of getting caught. When the police arrested him, her body had not been moved, and I was told he had no friends. I found out the cops had followed him all day as he looked for me. Mima was in the hospital, thankfully, because he would have killed her if she was home. I visited her in the hospital. He went to the store and bought a new shovel, rope, and lie. If he had found me, I would have been killed. After a long day of questions and tears, I was taken to a women's abuse shelter to stay for a bit. I was completely unhinged by this point and didn't want to stay there. I felt locked up, trapped, I just wanted my Meemaw. I tried to escape. When that failed, I tried to kill myself. I couldn't think anymore. I just wanted to die all the time. Well, you're not kidding. She wants to die all the time. I wanted to scream and cry and fight. I tried to escape again and got kicked out. Good. Okay, maybe that might happen. Having no other choice, police took me to Mima and set me up to see therapy. I would have I would be given another new diagnosis of PTSD and put back on medication for schizoaffective disorder. I freaking lost my mind. Any sanity I had was shattered, and I suddenly couldn't control myself at all, crying and lashing out at Mima. Therapy didn't help because I wouldn't talk about it. I just wanted to forget and make it go away. I was told I could talk about anything, so I talked about my childhood. This turned out to be a mistake because when it came time for the trial, the police got my record from the therapist. When they brought me in for the deposition, his side continually questioned me about my father raping me. It was all he could get from what I told the therapist, so he used it, making me cry with these insanely personal questions, till I was excused as not a credible witness. It would be found guilty anyway. Given life, I feel like I've been given a life sentence. Everything changed for me after this. I felt dead inside. I felt like I didn't deserve to be alive. I should have died. I shouldn't have escaped. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Anyway, now let us take a look at the actual incident. And then we're going to go to see this. Like I said, I left off at the part where Eller said, if he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger. Eller told the jury. That doesn't excuse it. Oh, I already said that part. Almost ironically, the woman's email handle was Broken Angel. Although Eller called her an accessory to murder, she was never charged. In fact, she was the one who went to the police when she realized what McBride had done. Nellie Eggy cried as she told the jury the horror of having to identify lost remains, which had been buried more than a month when the police found her. She said she'd known Laws since she was a middle school student. When she was 15 and pregnant, Aggie said Laws did what she could do to help raise the baby. Sorry. She always made me feel good, and I loved like I was one of her own children, Eggie said. I tried to think this is all a dream, but it's not. Eggie was one of several prosecution witnesses who described the dear friend they lost when Laws was killed. Pleading for his client's life, Eller told the jury that life imprisonment, life in prison would be a fate worse than death for McBride because of his sex offense. He said he expected inmates to prey on him as he negotiates a brutal system of cell block politics. A string of character witnesses, including a Georgia police detective who grew up with McBride and one of McBride's grade school teachers, described him as a quiet, average kid who grew up in a military family before he became a decent employee at a local car wash. The panel of 7 men and 5 women was out less than 15 minutes before handing over an 8-4 vote in favor of execution. Death verdicts are based on majority polling. Typically, judges review such a recommendation and follow the jury's recommendation in a sentencing hearing several weeks later. Thursday's hearing capped a trial that stopped last week as McBride decided to plead guilty to first-degree murder just as the jury went to deliberate. So, McBride confessed. Maybe someday, bro guy, maybe someday I'll look at Brett Keen's book. You know, that's what
Don't keep saying.
That's, you know what? That's what I should do. I should start reading shitty books, torturing myself. I mean, I can read good. It's just when it comes to people writing shittily, I can make the best example. So,
Y'all keep saying this is just about mean comments and people online. It's not. It's about murder.
of course, we all know. So, I'm going to end this stream off. I guess I might have overstayed the welcome a bit, but this is going to be something. I'm going to end the stream off with a little murderer.
You people are saying, multiple of you have said that you have information about a murder. That's not a game. It's not a joke. It should not have been taken to social media. It should have been taken information about a murder. That's not a game. It's not a joke. It should not have been taken to social media. It should have been taken to the police. Like I did the first time I turned him in.
Yeah, Mary, but again, you told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta. You kept saying, get rid of her, get rid of her. If anyone has the police records, the police file on the case, please notify me and send me a link to the Discord in the Discord if you have any information on the police case. Because there are things that Mary's not telling us.
You have evidence that, at least you say you have evidence. You keep telling me you have evidence. For 5 months,
sure.
You told me that you're going to release the proof that I'm guilty. You haven't released anything, and it's been 5 months of murder accusations with no police involvement. That's bullshit. The police need to be involved. That's why I'm going to the police station. Whether they can get the information out of you people, that's up to them. But I'm doing.
Spiritual God Warrior 420, you are now a moderator.
Doing what I know is right to do. If you have information about a murder, you are supposed to go to the police. You are not supposed to just mentally torture the person that you think did it.
You are now a mod. Murderer. The shovel.
Y'all idiots really spent $123 to mail me a shovel. Really? You spent $123 just in the postage, you moron.
They could have, dude, they could have just mailed you a sack of potatoes or a potato tied to a string.
And guess what? It doesn't upset me. I'm going to go see if I can sell it.
Dave Wave Radio. Oh my God. By Royce, Frozen Pest, JJ, and AP. And Royce. Moderator. Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. I'll be showing you the potato. Hold on. Let me see if I can find murder. Oh. Never mind. Oh, yeah. I know, right? And murderer. Funny how the blame keeps shifting to anyone and everyone but you. You don't deserve a single thing from anyone, Mary. Prove the death threats. Take screenshots of the supposed threats you are receiving. You claim no one else has evidence, but fail to provide any of your own. Put up or shut up. Also, to confirm, yeah, I did get paid off by Aunt Kathy to be here. She paid me $1,337 to watch you squirm. Still waiting on the check, though. Been a few months now since she said she sent it. I'm sure it is coming, though. And it is just USPS being awful. Oh, these are the KYS things. Oh my god. Oh yeah, Niece Lone Wolf is a POS. Whew. Murderer. Murderer.
Alright, so I just found this video and I haven't watched the whole thing. I've been skipping through it, but I found, while randomly skipping through it, I found my aunt not only threatening to kill me, but saying that she could easily cover it up if she did.
Peter said, can I drop kick Mary down some stairs yet? Jeff, no, because she'll turn into a real person if you do.
I love that one. God damn it, AP.
Well, I got some stairs. It's a good one.
Alright, so
I got some stairs. Oh my god, I love Aunt Kathy. I freaking love her. She is such a peach.
somebody has threatened to kill me by drop kicking me downstairs. And my aunt's response is, I've got some stairs.
Upstairs.
Okay, I take it back. Aunt Kathy is willing to volunteer her stairs. If you want to drop Mary down them, Jeff, the door's open, man.
There, come on in. And I've got real good with the sander and how I've been teaching myself some things because I got it on my bucket list. I can sand that blood right out of them stairs.
Hell yeah. See,
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy, she says. She's been thinking about, apparently, how hard it would be to cover up a murder if she decided to kill me.
Kind of like how you covered up a murder when Kenneth McBride told you to when you told Kenneth McBride to get rid of Roberta Laws. Kind of like how you try to cover up the fact that you told Kenneth McBride to get rid of Roberta Laws.
She's telling these people that they can use her home if they decide to murder me and that she'll be able to cover it up.
I don't think that's what she
But
said.
she's still going to also say that she's a loving, supportive family member who would never do anything like that.
I wish I had an aunt like Aunt Kathy. An aunt that donates money. My life is in danger. We know. Documenting threats. I am a human being. Hulu, no. Please help. No hate. Gluten-free fried chicken. Yeah, I did a thing. We know you did a thing. You put mayo in your hair. Cyberbullying Adrasia. No one's going to believe me. Is this the one? April stalkers are sad. I can't live here. Reasons. Yeah. Eat. The punch. The murder. New Year's Day. Everybody hates me. No shit. Furniture update. Harassing the mentally ill is illegal. I'm looking into getting a lawyer. Nobody deserves this. Royce wants blood. Oh, trans does not equal pedophile. It's on 4chan. Police. Have mercy, Royce. Bubba. Adonis lies. No one is trying something else. I can't win. Murderer. Murderer. Threats. Death is the loudest scream for help. It won't end. I'm not lying. Adonis Paul won't stop ever. My death shouldn't be a game. Threatened. Pleading my life. I just need this to end. I'm just looking for the ones that talk murderer. 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 Nope. New suicide baiting. We know you kill potatoes. Potato, potato, potato. Rat. Adonis gaslights. Really? Kathy won. Oh, this is the one. Exactly. Am I right, bro guy? Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, bro guy. You've seen the documentary, right? Me neither. I know, it is that hilarious. And now you wonder why they centered that shovel. This will be it.
On their show today, around the time they called me, they were live on their show telling people that I was a murderer. I have never been convicted of murder. I have never been tried for murder. But listen to this man's exact words. He is going to call me a murderer.
Murderer. Oh my God. Mary, I hope you're still watching this, Mary. I know you're here. I know you're out there. The reason why they're calling you murderer is because there's a simple thing to say. You told Kevin, sorry. Always do that. You told Kenneth McBride in multiple emails demanding him to get rid of Roberta Laws. And guess what? He did so at your request.
Was she not Riri and disabled and right? From everything you know about
you're
the
going to love it.
She was possibly a potato.
Dude, bro guy, you're going to love the documentary. Type in Mayo, the Adrasia story. Type in that in your YouTube searches because you're going to love it. There's two parts of the documentary, and they're worth the watch. 3 hours worth. Well, actually, no. 7 hours worth of watching. The first part is like 3 hours long, and the second is like 2 hours. So you're going to have a good time, bro guy. You're going to have a good time watching that shit.
Yes. Okay. And so out of all of this, what is it usually that people do? Don't they usually project in their videos on other people what their problems in life is? So why is this murderer projecting on us?
Why is this murderer projecting? Why is this murderer projecting? Do you know how difficult it is for me to know that you're out here calling me a murderer to your thousands of subscribers? I am not a murderer. I have never killed anybody. I don't want to kill anybody but myself.
I love it. I just wanted to end the stream off with a classic Adrasia case, which suits perfectly well with what I read, because oh my God, the way she reacts to that shows that, yeah, she is guilty. Guilty as charged, Mary.
I never killed anybody.
Oh my God.
I never killed anybody. I am not a murderer.
Yes, you are.
I am not a murderer.
Murderer.
Royce Lopez.
Murderer. I think she almost blew up my eardrums. Murderer. Murderer. She's a murderer of ducks. She kills ducks and buries potatoes. She kills ducks and potatoes.
On his show today, after he called me, told his thousands of subscribers that I am a murderer.
Murderer. Murderer. Let me hear that again.
That I am a murderer.
Murderer. Murderer. Murderer. Murderer. Murderer. I love it. Oh my God. Let me play that again. I love hearing her say that.
That he told his show. I am not a murderer. Royce Lopez on his show today, after he called me, told his thousands of subscribers that I am a murderer.
Oh my God. Her neighbors must really love her. Her neighbors must really love her. I love these old Adrasia clips. They're so funny to laugh at. It's because, Mary, I know you're watching this because you uploaded a video not long ago, and of course you left a dislike in my comment. You left a dislike. So how does it feel, murderer?
He has absolutely no evidence that I ever killed anybody. He has evidence.
It's called Daywave Radio called me a murderer on the Rickzilla Revive channel.
That another man killed a woman and confessed to it. Kenneth McBride killed Roberta Laws, not me.
Hold on, let me hear that.
A murderer.
A murderer. Here you go.
Murderer. He has evidence that another man killed a woman and confessed to it.
Yeah, but who told him to kill that woman? Who told him to kill Roberta Laws? The emails, Mary. The emails say differently. Busted. And let's not forget that you were nagging at Kenneth, demanding him to get rid of Roberta. And I will say this I will quote Assistant Prosecutor Rafik Eller, to quote Rafik Eller, if he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger. And that's what you did. You pulled the trigger.
Kenneth McBride killed Roberta Laws, not me. I am not a murderer. I am not a murderer. I am not a murderer. And Royce Lopez called me a murderer.
Oh, Tarot Combat. Oh yeah, dude. I need to hear a link to the Tarot Combat
today on his show.
I need to hear the Tarot Combat theme. Oh my god, I freaking love. And I also want to give a shout out to Adonis Paul for putting my name in the credits of the second part of the Mayo Adrasia story in the credits, to giving like the special thanks to
Joe live to his thousands of subscribers. He called me a murderer. Do you people understand? He called me a murderer. He called me a murderer.
Murderer.
He used the word murderer when describing me.
Don't blow a blood vessel. Man, just be glad. I hope she didn't blow a blood vessel when she started saying that. She almost had an aneurysm right there by screaming that shit.
He called me a murderer, and I have never murdered anybody.
Okay.
Nobody but myself. On his show today, he told his thousands of subscribers that I am a murderer. He called me to be on his show and hear him tell his subscribers that I am a murderer. He wants me to know that the world views me as a murderer because that's what he is telling people.
Thank you, Spiritual God Warrior 420.
On his show today, he said those words. This murderer, he said those words. He called me a murderer. He told his fans I'm a murderer. He told the world I'm a murderer.
I'm betting her neighbors must love her.
He told YouTube I'm a murderer.
Murderer! Oh my God, the way she pronounces it is funny. We know you just... Let's not forget the fact that you called Roberta Laws a potato. I think the reason why they called you a murderer is because you were feeding ducks rice. Fucking ducks.
I am not a murderer. I never killed anybody. I never killed anybody.
That's not what the police that's not what the police reports say. That's not what Adonis Paul said. That's not what Reality Check TV said. That's not what Reality Check said. You told Kenneth McBride in multiple emails demanding him to get rid of Roberta. You kept screaming at him, "Get rid of her! Get rid of her!" And he did. Please refrain to what prosecutor Eller said. If he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger.
I never killed anybody. I never killed anybody. I never killed anybody. I never killed anybody. I never went to jail for killing anybody. I never did it. I never did. I never did. I never did.
Okay, Mary. Well, technically, you confessed to the cops, and Kenneth took the file. Kenneth pleaded guilty because he knew that if they found out about those emails, you would have been acquitted. So we took the fall, took the plea deal, and now he's serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Good for you, Kenneth. Good for you. Good for you, Mary. That fucker deserved to be locked up for the rest of his natural life. Honestly, I would have preferred death penalty, but it is what it is.
I never, ever killed anybody. He had no right to go on his show this morning and openly call me a murderer.
Murderer.
He had no right. He had no proof.
Murderer.
He had no evidence. But he's telling the world that I'm a murderer. Me, not Kenneth McBride, not the man that's in prison for murder, not the man who murdered her.
Murderer. Potato. Yep. But you helped. Yeah, but you helped. You helped him cover it up. You helped him buy the shovel. And you helped him dig the hole. And you helped him get rid of the evidence. So yeah, you're just about as guilty as Kenneth is. The difference is, you're not in jail.
And confess to murdering her. They want the world to believe it's me.
Well, it is.
I didn't do anything. I didn't kill her.
but you told Kenneth to. You told Kenneth to get rid of her. I'm going to keep repeating that over and over again. But then again, I'd be accused of repetition.
I am not a murderer. Calling me a murderer live on your show gives people the right to hurt me.
So calling you a murderer makes you want to silt your wrists? Makes you want to commit Minecraft? Wow. So watching people make videos on you makes you want to commit non-existing? Wow. Talk about someone with no life. And I thought Shanny was bad, but you, Mary, you're pretty much you're pretty much the top priority. You're pretty much a bigger lolcow than Shanny is. And Shanny is big. She is humongous.
Gives people the right to attack me
My
and hate
God.
me and abuse me because they see me as a murderer and I did not kill anybody.
I bet.
If I had killed somebody, I would be in jail.
Why aren't you in jail? Why isn't she? As a matter of fact, why isn't she in jail?
I am not in jail. I have never been to jail.
I'm not going to count the battered women's shelter, but then again, the whole being tied up, bound, held hostage, and being raped to no end. There are plot holes everywhere. It's like Swiss cheese.
Because I did not do it. I did not kill Roberta Laws. Kenneth McBride.
Yes, B. Smiley is right. Charlie Manson didn't kill anyone. Funny how that works. Yes. Yeah, Charlie Manson has never killed anyone either. Well, he never did kill anyone, but he instigated it. So he's just about as responsible for Sharon Tate's death as his cult followers. So yeah. Kind of like how you didn't really physically murder Roberta Laws, but you instigated it.
Killed Roberta Laws. Kenneth McBride is in prison for killing Roberta Laws, not me.
Charles Manson didn't really kill Cheryl Tate, but his followers did. And yet he and his followers were serving a life sentence.
I am not in prison.
And yet you're not in prison.
I was never on trial, but I am being called a murderer.
You lied. You told your sob story to the judge, and they thought you were a victim. So they dismissed you. You manipulated the system.
So that people will hurt me.
You are a murderer, Mary.
He called told me this morning. He woke me up to tell me I was on his show, and now he's lying about it because he doesn't want his fans to know that he's doing this to people. He doesn't want people to know that he's mentally destroying a woman. He doesn't want fans who are paying him to know that he's actually trying to kill somebody. He doesn't want them to know. He's going to keep denying, but he called me. He called me this morning. He called me this morning and told me I was on his show. He called me this morning. He told me I was on his show. He called me this morning and told me I was on his show.
How many times has she one of the things I notice about Adrassi is that she always repeats herself. Always repeats herself. I mean, why? Doesn't make her any less crazy than she already is.
And I told him to stay on the line and I would kill myself for his audience, and he hung up.
B. Smiley said, she makes it seem like she was a quiet, reserved little girl who was victimized by Kenneth, when we can see she is not quiet nor reserved. She pulled this same mind game BS to Ken and Grandma. B. Smiley said, she made at least 10 of these "he called me" videos back to back. And Spiritual God Warrior for Tyranny said, she works herself into panic attacks. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Like a goddamn pussy. And I went into his chat and I told him to call me back and get what he wants. Call me back and get what you want. Call me back. You want me to die? Just call me back and listen to it. You want me to die? Just call me back and listen to it. You want me to die? Just call me back and listen.
Yeah, I could see that, B. Smiley. I could definitely see that. B. Smiley says she thinks if she repeats a lie enough, it'll become true. This ain't a ritual. This ain't looking at yourself in the mirror and expecting the lie to be true. You're not summoning. You know, it kind of feels like, well, then again, you're already bloody. You're already bloody, Mary. Ah, see what I did there? See what I did there? Bloody Mary. Yes, I called her that. I better be careful. I don't want Adrassi coming after my ass. Actually, I do. Oh, wait, I'm not standing in a mirror. I'm on camera. B. Smiley said he was doing a show. Then she made these videos. Yeah. Yeah, Platty says, yeah, Cyrix does it too. I think it's done to keep the manipulation act going and to control a conversation. Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You don't think I'm going to do it? I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's basically, I could see Mary doing that.
To it. Just call me back and listen to it. Just call me back and listen to it, you fucking motherfuckers. You want it so badly. You want me dead so badly, but you don't want to see it. You don't want to hear it.
I know.
You don't want to be responsible for it. You want me.
A stylo. Guys. Cyrax threatened to kill himself by trying to shove a stylo up his rectum.
Dead, though. You want me dead. You want me dead. But you don't want anybody to know that you want me dead. You want to be able to keep having your show. You want to move on and torture somebody else after I'm dead. You want to torture another mentally unwell woman and push her to kill herself.
Spiritual God Warrior 420 says, she smokes a ton of weed, and that increases her paranoia. Weed is not good for people with schizophrenia. I could agree. I could agree with that, Spiritual God Warrior 420, because, I mean, look what happened to Rev. Look what happened to Rev. I mean, I could tell right off the bat that Rev was might be schizophrenic. And indulging in CBD or Delta 8, that's not good for someone with severe paranoia. Yes, and Amanda Bynes. How could I forget about Amanda Bynes? Excuse me.
Live on your goddamn show for money because people pay you to destroy the mentally ill. People pay you to destroy me.
Now, people like the content. And they pay to see more. They pay to get shout outs. It's called Super Chats, Mary. It's something you will never have. It's something you'll never achieve. Most of your subscribers are just watching you just to collect videos and do reactions on them and get money for that. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing as of now. Kind of like how you would try to like manipulate people into donating money to your PayPal. However, I get paid by doing a service. And that is by laughing at your insanity, Mary Barone.
People pay you to destroy mentally unwell women, and it's not ever going to stop until you go to jail for what you are doing.
You're going to jail. Physical jail.
Royce Lopez called me this morning. He woke me up to tell me I was on his show. He woke me up to tell me I was on his show. He woke me up to tell me I was on his show. After I begged for a day of peace, after hurting myself so badly yesterday and begging.
Hurting so badly. Translation. She punched herself. Again. Again!
For a single day of peace, Royce Lopez woke me up to tell me to kill myself because I'm not allowed to have a single day of peace. I'm not allowed to have a single moment of peace. I'm not allowed to live. I'm not allowed to heal or get better. They have not given me a day to rest.
Exactly. Again, another one of her flat out lies. Royce Lopez never called her. He didn't even have her on his show. You know how you know how people have been trying to get an interview with Mary and she said, pay me or I won't do it. And if you try anything, I will run away. I will leave. And that's basically what she... Instead of actually confronting people, she would rather run away and further isolate herself from the rest of the world.
In 3 goddamn months, and it has to end.
You have to understand, bro guy, she is not normal. She never will be normal. Even if she tries to better her situation, it's never going to work. It's never going to happen to her. The shovel.
They say there's. Okay.
Here's
I really need y'all to understand how far these people are reaching. So they keep talking about a shovel, right? They keep telling everybody that I bought the shovel. I personally bought the shovel. This is what it says in the police report. Witness, wait, hold on. Where does it say shovel at? Okay, witness and the suspect. So, first off, I want to point out witness, not associate, not suspect.
Okay, that's it. Witness. So, what did we learn from this? We learned no matter how many times Mary claims to want to be left alone, we know it's bullshit. We know she loves the attention. And we know damn well that she'll go through any lengths to get it. That's going to do it for tonight's stream. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for showing up. Again, you guys are freaking awesome. I also want to give a shout out to Royce Lopez, JJ Stoner, Adonis Paul, Virgie, and Hatman, and many, 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 many other people. Oh, also Aunt Kathy. I also want to thank Aunt Kathy too. Because if it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't know who the fuck Adrasia was. And I would have been stuck covering Shanny for the remainder of 2021. So I also want to thank Adrasia too for giving me for all the videos that she has put out that I can cover so that I don't have to look at Shanny's ugly mug ever again. That's going to do it for tonight. Thank you for so much. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell notification. And if you want to support me in other ways, again, the links are in the description. The links to my PayPal and Cash App are in the description below, as well as my email. And again, I'm going to be looking into more of the classic Adrasia videos, the hour-long ones where she's trying to deflect. But I also got my show tomorrow at 9 p.m. My Monday shows at 9 p.m. along with the Wednesdays and Fridays, also 9 p.m. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for showing up. And I will end this with this little gem. Good night, everyone. See you later.
Called me this morning. Hey, called me this morning. Why would you call back? Called me this morning. Hey, called me this morning. Stay right here. Fight. You want me dead? Radio! Daniel Stoner, Anonymous Cross, Roy Lopez, Daniel McIntyre, Jeremy Johnson, Kenneth McBride, Roberta Long. Radio!